It was almost 3 months since he gave his daughter, Joy, as a sacrifice. Yet nothing had changed. No money. No contract. No miracle. Just silence and endless regret. One night, frustrated and afraid, he picked up his phone and called Tony. "Tony, wetin dey happen now? I don't give my pikin, nothing don't change. I still dey broke. My wife dey cry every day. I dey lose my mind. I never sleep well since that day," Agomba said with a shaky voice. "Agomba, calm down," Tony replied coolly. "These things they take time. Just get patience. Not like that they start. It go soon happen." Agomba dropped the call with a heavy heart. If not for fear, he would have reversed everything. But it was too late. 3 weeks later, Agomba was sitting in his living room eating yam porridge when his phone rang. It was a strange number. Unknown. He hesitated. Then answered. "Hello, who dey talk?" "Good evening, sir. Am I speaking with Chief Agomba?" "Yes, this is Agomba," he replied, confused. "Good. I have a roofing contract worth 100 million naira. I want you to roof 4 duplexes in my estate. If you are interested, come to my office tomorrow morning. You'll sign the contract and collect the deposit. I want you to start immediately." Agomba froze. He thought he was dreaming. The next morning, he wore his best clothes and hit the road. As Agomba stepped into the massive glass building, he could hardly believe his eyes. Everything about the place screamed wealth. The walls sparkled, the floors shined, and people walked past him in well-tailored suits and shining shoes. It was a far cry from his days as a village carpenter in dusty slippers. A young secretary led him through a long hallway. "Sir, this way please. Oga is waiting for you inside." Agomba nodded quietly, gripping the handle of his worn-out leather bag. His heart thumped hard in his chest. He couldn't tell if it was fear or excitement. Inside that bag were copies of old carpentry contracts, pictures of roofings he had done, and one small bottle of anointing oil his wife had pressed into his hand before he left that morning. The door opened, and there he was. A tall, clean-shaven man with a calm but firm face, sitting comfortably behind a wide oak desk. The room was cold from air conditioning, and the air smelled like expensive perfume and wood polish. A large painting hung behind the man, a golden lion with eyes like fire. "You must be Mr. Agomba," the man said without looking up. His voice was deep, smooth, and intimidating. "Sit down." Agomba sat carefully, trying not to shift too much in the expensive leather chair. The man finally looked up, eyes sharp like they were searching for something deep in Agomba's soul. "I called you because someone recommended you. He said you're a village man who works with his hands. But I don't do business with just anybody." Agomba sat still. He felt a cold sweat begin to form on his back. "I have 4 duplexes in my estate that need roofing. I want it done in less than 2 months. My budget is 100 million naira. The question is simple." The man leaned forward slightly, his voice dropping. "Can you handle this project?" Agomba didn't blink. He swallowed hard, leaned forward, and replied, "Yes, sir. Trust me. I might not look like much, but roofing is what I've done all my life. Just give me the chance." The man stared at him for a few seconds, then nodded slowly. "All right." He turned to his side, pressed a button on his intercom, and said, "Bring in the documents." Within minutes, a young assistant walked in with a black file. She dropped it gently on the table and stepped out. "Here is the contract," the man said, flipping open the file. "Read it and sign at the bottom. The advance payment is 70 million. The rest will come after completion." Agomba looked through the pages nervously. He couldn't understand most of the big grammar inside, but he saw the numbers, Nigerian Naira 100,000,000. His hand shook as he picked up the pen. "Sir, what if I fail?" he asked in a small voice. The man smiled strangely. "Then you will pay with your life," he said, half joking, half serious. "But I don't think you will fail. I believe in desperate men. Desperate men do anything to win." Agomba smiled nervously and signed. The man pressed another button. "Banker, please transfer 70 million naira to this account." He turned to Agomba. "Give me your details." Agomba reached into his shirt pocket and handed him the folded paper. His body was shaking, but he held it in. Within minutes, his small phone vibrated in his pocket. One new SMS. He pulled it out and opened the message. "You have received 70 million Nigerian nairas from ECO Global Properties Ltd." Agomba stood there, frozen. The man stood up and walked over to him, smiling now. "Congratulations, Mr. Agomba. You're no longer just a carpenter. You're now one of the biggest roofing contractors in this state. Do your job well, and I'll keep you rich forever." Agomba struggled to speak but only nodded. Just as he turned to leave, the man said, "Wait." He walked over to a shelf and pulled out a black box. He handed it to Agomba. "Take this," he said. "It's a new iPhone. You'll need it for communication. And dress better next time, okay? This is business." Agomba thanked him repeatedly, almost bowing as he left the office. The secretary outside smiled at him. "Congratulations, sir," she said politely. As he stepped outside the building and into the hot afternoon sun, Agomba looked up to the sky. For the first time in a long time, he smiled. He didn't take a bus home. He ordered a boat. As the car drove him away, he held his phone tightly, staring at the 70 million Nigerian nairas alert again and again like he didn't believe it. He had done it. Or so he thought. As the boat dropped him at the front of his compound, Agomba stepped out slowly like someone walking on clouds. His steps were light, his chest full. He didn't even argue with the driver about change, something he used to do with every kobo. He paused in front of his house, took a deep breath, and smiled. For the first time, the house looked small to him. His old zinc-roofed house, which once looked like heaven to him, now looked like a poultry shed. He shook his head and muttered to himself, "From today, everything go change." He walked in, and the wooden door creaked behind him. His wife, Mama Emeka, was outside sweeping the compound. She was tying a faded wrapper around her chest, sweat dripping down her face as she bent to pick dirt. Their son, Emeka, sat on a wooden bench, playing with an empty milk tin. She didn't notice him at first. "Chioma," he called gently. She turned around sharply, surprised. "Oh, you don't come this early." He didn't answer immediately. He walked to her and smiled. Then he did something strange, he hugged her tightly. She froze. Agomba was not the hugging type. She slowly returned the hug, holding him with one hand, the other still holding the broom. "My husband. Wetin happen? You dey okay?" Agomba pulled back and looked into her eyes. My wife. No God. No God. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. See this message. Read 'em. She wiped her hand on her wrapper and took the phone. As her eyes scanned the screen, her mouth dropped. Jesus. 70 million. Agomba laughed and raised his hands in the air. I tell you, say this thing go work. Baby, we don't blow. We don't make 'em. Mama Emeka dropped the phone and covered her mouth, pacing around the compound like someone looking for something. Oh. Jehovah. Oh. Wait, oh. Is this real? Or no 419? No be fake. I enter one big office today. No like dream. Them give me contract to roof for duplex. 100 million total. 70 don't enter now. She stared at him in disbelief. You mean say, after all these years, God finally remember us? Agomba nodded with tears in his eyes. Yes. God don't remember us. She rushed back to him and held him tightly again, this time crying. Oh God. Oh God. Thank you. But as she held him, a small thought crawled into her mind like a cockroach. This miracle was too sudden. Too perfect. Too fast. Even when he sacrificed their daughter and nothing happened, now all of a sudden, money just dey pour in. Her heart grew heavy, but she pushed it down. She smiled through her tears. I'm happy for you, my husband. God is truly great. Agomba stepped back, nodded, and wiped his face. I go change everything for us. No more poverty. No more shame. He walked into the house, went straight to the bedroom, and sat on their worn-out foam bed. He picked up his phone and scrolled to Tony's number. He took a deep breath, then pressed call. It rang just once before Tony picked up. Agomba, my man. Any news? Tony's voice came through, calm and slow as always. Agomba laughed loudly. Tony. It don't happen. My guy, I get contract. 100 million. Tony didn't react immediately. You serious? He finally asked. I no fit lie you. The man pay me 70 million already. I don't see alert. Omo, no big roofing job. There was a long silence on the line. Then Tony said in a low voice, good. Very good. I tell you say make you be patient. The gods know they fail. As long as you obey. Agomba's voice softened. I never forget. I dey do everything. I still dey pour the urine. The python dey well fed. I no slack. Good, Tony replied. Enjoy small, but don't forget yourself. This is only the beginning. The gods want loyalty. If you fail them, they will collectible. Agomba swallowed hard. I understand. I dey loyal. Congratulations, Tony said flatly, then ended the call. Agomba dropped the phone slowly on the bed and stared at the wall. His excitement returned for a moment, but something in Tony's voice kept ringing in his head like a warning. He stood up, dusted his trouser, and walked back outside to where his wife was now washing plates by the kitchen corner. He looked at her quietly, wondering what would happen if she ever found out the truth. Mama Emeka looked up at him, her smile soft but her eyes searching. So, what next now? You go resign from carpentry. He chuckled, hiding the fear in his heart. No. I go open construction company. Big one. No roofing build my life, I no fit leave am. She nodded slowly. I just hope say all this is from God. Agomba forced a smile. Of course. Who else? But deep inside, he knew who it was from, and it wasn't God. From that day, more contracts started flowing. Bigger ones. Wealth came like rain. Agomba bought a mansion in the city, cars, lands, and built houses. He became the latest millionaire in town. But he never stopped the urine business. In his mansion, there was a room. A dark room. It had a strong iron door with 3 heavy padlocks. Inside was a pool. A pool filled with urine. Inside that pool lived a giant python. Agomba told his workers, "This room dey special. It get all my treasures and hard currency. Nobody must open am. Even if fire catch am, leave am." Among the workers was one boy, Chukwudi. He was young, curious, and very smart. Even though the salary was good, something about Chief Agomba bothered him. One night, Chukwudi was going to use the bathroom when he heard footsteps. He quickly hid behind a pillar. To his shock, he saw Chief Agomba sneaking with 2 gallons filled with a dark liquid. He looked around carefully and headed straight to the dark room. Chukwudi followed silently. Agomba unlocked the padlocks one by one and slipped inside, slamming the door shut. Chukwudi tiptoed and leaned on the door. He could hear the sound of water splashing. And someone talking. "Yes, my king, yes, I brought fresh ones." Chukwudi's heart almost jumped out. Is someone locked inside this room? I must find out, he whispered. That night, he couldn't sleep. From that moment, Chukwudi swore to find a way to enter the room. He made many plans. He even tried picking the padlocks. Nothing worked. But he knew, whatever was inside that room was tied to Agomba's wealth. Still, the villagers adored Agomba. He donated food, school fees, hospital bills. He built roads and boreholes. They called him the Messiah of Isioma. But Chukwudi knew the truth, behind that mansion was a dark secret. Months passed. One day, Agomba made a public announcement. My people, I go dey celebrate my 50th birthday next month. Everybody is invited, both rich and poor. Come chop, drink, and carry some go house. The village erupted in praise. The only Chief Agomba, one of Isioma. You shall live long. The day finally came. A day the whole village would never forget. The day Chief Agomba showed the world that poverty had left his house for good. For 3 full weeks, preparation shook the whole neighborhood. Trucks carried in crates of drinks, big ones like Hennessy, Ozu, Martel, and cartons of beer. Caterers moved up and down, cooking with industrial pots that looked like water tanks. 3 fat cows were slaughtered. Goats and chickens disappeared daily. Agomba didn't care about cost. His pocket was full, and his heart was louder than his brain. Spend the money while the money dey, he shouted with laughter as his workers decorated the compound with canopies, ribbons, and balloons. His mansion, newly painted in royal white and wine red, stood like a palace. The compound alone could take 15 cars, and every inch was covered with decorations, chairs, speakers, and dancing lights. He paid a popular DJ to handle the music. He even flew in a fast-rising Afrobeat singer just to perform live. It wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. By 10 a.m. that day, the compound was already full. Big men arrived in G-wagons and proto-jeeps, their perfumes hitting the air like bullet spray. Some wore agbadas with gold chains. Others came in senator wear, holding their walking sticks like kings. They called Agamba boss, chairman, my leader. City girls started trooping in around noon. Most came in tight dresses, tall heels, artificial eyelashes long enough to blow breeze. Some didn't even know who Agamba was, they only followed the sound of money. They posed for pictures near his gate, near his jeep, near the cows. One even stood beside his wife's cooking pot and snapped, pretending to cook. Inside the house, the ACs were blowing full blast. In every room, loud laughter and loud music filled the space. Nobody lacked anything. If your beer finished, 10 bottles waited beside you. If you touched your plate, another one appeared. Fried rice, jollof, pepper soup, Kobe, Aisayo, name it, you go chop 'em. Chief Agamba sat like a king under a decorated canopy, wearing a flowing white lace agbada with red beads on his neck. His fingers glittered with gold rings. He even wore a wristwatch worth more than a plot of land. He was smiling from ear to ear, giving handshake after handshake, nodding like a politician. On his left sat Mama Emeka, glowing like a queen. Her wrapper was pure George, her blouse heavily stoned, her head tie high like a crown. Her makeup was perfect, and her smile wide, but inside her, suspicion still lived quietly like a snake behind a curtain. She whispered to her husband, "This thing too big, hope say you still dey pray." Agamba only laughed. "Pray no dey do this one. No hard work and connections." She smiled politely but turned her face away. Something didn't feel right. Meanwhile, Chukwudi, their houseboy turned cleaner, had been watching everything from the shadows. Small boy, always quiet. But that day, his eyes were sharp like blade. He was not interested in the food or drink. He was watching movement, timing steps, studying faces. He had served in that house long enough to know the pattern. He knew when Mama Emeka left the room to pose for photos. He knew when Agamba was pulled to the stage to dance. He knew that in the middle of such a noisy party, nobody would notice a small boy sneaking around. And so, when the opportunity came, he moved. The moment the live band started performing and the crowd screamed as the singer shouted, "Shout out to Chief Agamba!" Asterisk, and the DJ hit a loud horn, "P-O-O-H-H-H-H-H." That was it. Chukwudi acted. He dropped the crate of drinks he was pretending to carry, wiped his sweaty palms on his faded trouser, and slipped through the side of the house. His heart pounded as he climbed the back stairs quietly, avoiding the main corridor where people were entering and exiting. He paused when he reached the top floor. Listened. The hallway was silent. He tiptoed forward, eyes darting left and right. He reached Chief Agamba's room, the master bedroom. The door was locked. He smiled. Because he knew something others didn't know. He reached into his pocket and brought out a tiny key. The duplicate he made weeks ago when he was asked to mop the room. He had made it from a local welder who thought it was for his own padlock. He inserted the key, turned it gently, and heard the soft click. Clack. The door opened. Chukwudi entered, shut the door behind him, and exhaled deeply. The room smelled like imported perfume and luxury. Gold-framed photos hung on the wall. A giant flat-screen TV stood on the wall. The bed was massive, covered in silky white sheets. At the corner, beside the wardrobe, was the altar, the special place Agomba kept a small pot, some feathers, and a red cloth with cowries. Chukwudi's eyes scanned the room. He wasn't looking for jewelry or money. He was looking for answers. He walked straight to the wardrobe and opened it. Inside were boxes, bags, and stacks of clothes. Then his eyes caught something, a small black bag with a zip. He pulled it out gently, dropped it on the bed, and unzipped it. Inside was a strange bottle, brown, with dried herbs inside and thick yellow liquid. He also saw an envelope full of old, burnt photos. Most were pictures of naked people, some crying, some screaming, some faded with time. A few had bloodstains. Then he saw it. A bunch of keys. Suddenly, footsteps outside the room. Somebody was coming. He panicked. Quickly zipped the bag. Returned it to the wardrobe. Closed it gently. He slipped the keys under his shirt and tiptoed to the door. The handle twisted, but didn't open. Someone was just passing. He waited. The sound faded. Then he opened the door slightly, peeped, and dashed out, heart pounding like talking drum. Nobody saw him. With shaking hands, he rushed to the forbidden room. He unlocked the first padlock. Click. The second. Click. The third. Creak. He pushed open the door. What he saw nearly made his soul leave his body. A giant python, almost the size of a bus, coiled inside a pool of urine. Its mouth was wide open, eyes glowing red, tongue flicking. Chukwudi screamed and ran out. Snakey. Jesus oh. Chief, they keep snake inside house. People dropped their plates and ran towards him. He led them back. When they saw the python, everyone screamed. Women fainted. Men jumped over tables. Some ran barefoot, holding their shoes in hand. Chief Agomba came inside, confused. Then he saw the open door. His face went pale. He remembered the priest's warning. No man born of woman must see the sacred beast. If not, your soul will be taken. And you shall never be buried among men. Suddenly, Agomba collapsed. He began shaking, turning on the ground. No, kill me. No, kill me, please. I don't want to die. Everyone stood still. His wife rushed to him. Agomba, wetin dey happen? Then came the confession. I kill my daughter. I kill joy for wealth. I dey collect people's urine and give the python. That snake dey multiply the money. But it dey chop souls too. I sacrifice people. I sacrifice myself. I no fit stop again. Before he could finish, the sky darkened. A strange wind blew into the room. The python hissed. Thunder struck the ground. Chief Agomba screamed. A loud roar echoed in the house. Then, silence. Agomba's body vanished. Just like that. Only his clothes were seen left on the floor. The villagers ran out. The party scattered. Food, drinks, money, forgotten. Days passed. They searched for his body. Nothing. Not even a finger. The dark room was sealed. Chukwudi left the mansion. Mama Emeka, once a woman of joy, now sat in her room holding her two sons. Her eyes red. Her lips dry. She whispered, "If I had known. If only I had known." But no amount of money could bring back her daughter. Or her husband. The villagers still tell the story of the man who rose from dust to riches, but paid the price with his soul. That was the end of Chief Agomba.